Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I cannot welcome you back to my channel because this is actually the very first video that I am posting here on YouTube. So welcome, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kimmy, this is my attic, and I called my channel Kimmy's Attic for two reasons. The first obvious one being that I am shooting in the attic, but number two is just that you know how you store all kinds of stuff in the attic? You find all kinds of stuff in the attic, sometimes stuff you didn't even know you had. My plan for this channel is just that, in that I want it to eventually become a channel where we can talk about all kinds of things, not necessarily just beauty and makeup, but pretty much whatever you want. But as for now, we are kicking it off with my an eyeshadow allergy, actually nickel allergy series. I said eyeshadow because eyeshadow has become one of my favorite things, but this series is about nickel allergies. So if you have clicked on this video, chances are you've had some kind of irritation or allergic reaction lately. Maybe you do have a nickel allergy. Maybe you suspect you have one. Maybe you're all of a sudden reacting to products that you used to love or still love and just seem to not be able to wear anymore. The thing about these allergies is that they do come out of nowhere. And as we get older, it's not uncommon. It's actually quite common to become allergic to something that we weren't allergic to before. When this first happened to me, I didn't understand it because I thought to myself, well, you're born with allergies, but that unfortunately is not necessarily true. They can come at any time. And so in this video, I'm basically going to introduce myself, tell you my story, how I went from a cosmetic bag full of makeup to basically an attic full. And as we continue with the series, I'm going to talk to you more about what you can do if you suspect you have a nickel allergy, about what kinds of makeup you can wear, what kinds of makeup you might be able to wear, shouldn't wear, all different kinds of stuff, because makeup can be a challenge. It really depends. So in order to start my story, I want to take you back to 2017. Back then, I never wore makeup. I had very, very little interest, which is why I have this bag. I wanted to show you that everything that I owned, cosmetic-wise, fit in this bag. Not this particular one, but one just like it. I had two eyeshadow quads. I think one was like mauve and one was like a brown, and they were the ones from the drugstore. I have no idea what brand they were, but they had like those little brushes that, you know, the drugstore makeup comes with. I never wore them, barely ever used them. I didn't actually own any makeup brushes. Like, I didn't even realize that you purchased brushes, you know, that brushes didn't come with makeup. I owned a foundation, had no idea how to choose foundation. I just grabbed one. I think I owned a CoverGirl foundation, which did not work at all for my skin. Owned some kind of concealer, which I would use if I had a blemish. No blush, no bronzer. True story, did not know what you do with highlighter. I seen it, I knew what it was, but I really didn't know how you wore it. And I had, I think, two lipsticks, again, the mauve and the nude, and eyeliner. The last thing I had, of course, was my eyeliner, and that was the thing that I liked to wear the most, because I always felt that when your eyes looked good, that when your eyes popped, you could really get away with wearing very other little makeup. And I actually still feel that way. I always, what do they say? The eyes are the window to the soul. I don't know. It's something like that. But I kind of get what they mean. I know this saying does not mean that. But like I said, when your eyes look good, your makeup just looks good. Like, I could see doing eye makeup and not doing other makeup, but very rarely you will see people doing other makeup and not eye makeup, if that makes sense. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but that's just, you know, what I see. So, loved wearing my eyeliner. But in 2018, I discovered something that I liked much better. Eyelashes. If eyeliner makes your eyes pop, eyelashes take you from a 0 to 100. They are gorgeous. Eyelash extensions, basically what they do, they take like 3 eyelashes and they glue them to one of yours, and you're left with like this fluttering, beautiful, just, I mean, they're gorgeous. There's no way around it. Are they expensive? Yes, they are very expensive. Can you tell they're not real? Yes. Nobody's born with eyelashes like that. But they're still really pretty. I mean, if you ever watch these beauty bloggers or somebody do their makeup on YouTube, you know, they do all their products and they look good, and then they'll say, okay, I'm going to go and do my eyes off camera, and they come back and they look like someone else. that's probably pretty much because they put on eyelashes. I mean, that's what they do. So I love them. I wore them for like a year. And then right before the holidays in 2019, I was going to get a whole new set. And I noticed that I had some kind of irritation, like something just wasn't right. My eyelids were starting to turn red and they just weren't comfortable. It wasn't that bad though. And it went away within a day. It stayed in the back of my mind, but I really didn't think that much about it again. Okay. Fast forward, right after the holidays, I went back to get a fill. Now, didn't have the best holiday season. Went through a breakup. I was broken up with on a text message, actually on one of the holidays. And it kind of reminded me of, if you're a Sex and the City fan, when Carrie gets dumped on the Post-it. She gets arrested and she shows the cop that she gets dumped on a Post-it. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it was not the best time for me. So I was already dealing with some stuff that kind of made anything else happen overly dramatic, like overly traumatic. So in the back of my head, I was thinking to myself, please don't let me react to these eyelashes, because I didn't want to stop wearing them. So I got them done and everything was fine. Woke up the next day, again, eyes were red, teary, irritated, swelling. I knew that it was the eyelashes, but I was in complete denial. So I went to work. As soon as I got to work, the first thing that Sean, who I was working with at the time, said to me was, "Who punched you in the face?" It was that bad. I mean, my eyes were swelled up. After that, everybody was like, "What happened? What's wrong?" And I love when people say, "Oh, do you know there's something wrong with your eyes?" Like you don't know. It can get annoying. But as the day went on, I realized that I had to come home and I had to get these eyelashes off. So my mom drove me to the salon. They took the eyelashes off. That in itself was a horrible experience, because I remember the woman was like, "Oh, I never saw anything like this before." And it was almost like she acted like I was blaming her, like I was blaming her salon, when I absolutely wasn't. She made me feel very uncomfortable in a time when I really needed someone just to be like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm sure it'll be fine, whatever." So that was a horrible experience. P.S. Never went back to that salon. She tried to blame it on the pads, basically the pads and the tape. So when you get your eyelashes done, they like tape these pads to your eyelids, basically so that your eyes stay shut. But I knew that wasn't it, because if that was it, when they took off the pads, that would have been it. And, well, I'm going to show you the picture in a second, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, so went home, went to sleep, woke up, and the next day I looked like this. By the way, not for the faint of heart. I looked like this. Let me tell you, it felt the way it looked. I was in so much pain. And when that skin gets so irritated and then your eyes are watering and it's just like, it was horrible. It took a good 2 weeks for that to go away, but it did go away. And I was convinced, I had self-diagnosed myself, I was allergic to glue, in eyelash glue. A chemical in eyelash glue. I decided that was what the problem was. So I said, you know what? I'll just go back to wearing eyeliner. Everything will be fine. Put on eyeliner and everything was fine. Until the next day, when everybody once again asked me why I was crying. But I hadn't been crying. I had what I would describe, looked like a crying rash though. I was red, like all through here. My eyes were puffy, red, watering. It wasn't as bad as the last one, but it was definitely there. And I knew it had something to do with the eyeliner. And I knew it had something to do with makeup. And I knew it was time to see a doctor. So I went to an optometrist, an IMD, and he said, "There's nothing actually wrong with your eyes. This is a dermatitis." So he sent me to a dermatologist, and the dermatologist gave me a patch test, and I was diagnosed as being allergic to nickel. Now, in my next video, I'm going to talk to you more about what a patch test is and how you do get diagnosed. But I was shocked. I mean, nickel was something I had never even thought of. He started talking to me about zippers and jewelry, and I said, this was a rash on my face. It wasn't from a zipper. It wasn't from anything like that. And I told him how it had started with eyelashes. And he said, well, maybe there's nickel in eyelashes. And it didn't make sense, because also I had the reaction from eyeliner. But it was one of those moments when you're at the doctor's and you just want to get the hell out of there. And you're like, whatever. So I took the paper And I'm driving home and I'm thinking to myself, nickel, is nickel in makeup? Because I knew this had something to do with makeup. I know nothing about, well, back then I knew nothing about makeup. So I decided that I would pull into the Macy's parking lot. I was driving past a Macy's on the way home. I went in and I asked one of the ladies at one of the counters, I'm not going to say which one it was, is there nickel in makeup? Like, how can I find nickel-free makeup? And she said, oh, all makeup is nickel-free. You're not going to find nickel in any makeup. And I know what she meant. You're not going to go and find makeup with the ingredient listed as nickel. But it's there. It's just that most people, probably in her defense, and they just don't know, in the doctor's defense, they just don't know about it. Because there's not a lot of information about it. So I went home and I looked, and sure enough, every single all the makeup that I looked up was nickel free or claimed to be nickel free. And I thought, this is impossible. So I started doing research, trying to figure it out, looking at this paper that the doctor had given me. And all of a sudden I noticed on the bottom of this paper, it says pigments. Had a list of metals, a list of foods, and then on the very bottom it said pigment. And I thought to myself, pigment in makeup? What does that mean? What gives makeup its pigment? So I looked it up, and sure enough, it's something called iron oxides. Iron oxides are what give makeup its pigment. Iron oxides are a derivative of nickel. There, I had my answer. Iron oxides are considered very safe to use. They're approved to use in makeup and actually considered to be one of the safer ingredients. Now, I don't know you. I don't know your makeup collection. But I guarantee you that there's iron oxides in 99% or more, or 100% even, of your makeup. Go check. Right? It's there. If it doesn't say iron oxides, it might go by its numerical code. If you ever looked at ingredients in makeup, you will see, a lot of times you'll see, I think it's 5 or 6 digit numbers. Anything that starts in 774 is an iron oxide. And it's probably there. If you don't see iron oxides, you don't see 774, but you see mica, you're still not out of the woods, because mica in its purest form does not contain iron oxides. It's mica, but it's also transparent. So what happens is when they use it in makeup, they coat it in iron oxides. Mica is what really gives those gorgeous shimmers. The colors that you can make with mica are almost endless. And so you'll find mica in a lot of makeup, even if you don't find iron oxides.
Hey guys, Editing Kimmy here. I just wanted to pop in real quick and make a comment, because when I'm watching this video back, I'm kind of giving you the impression that every time you see mica in a product as an ingredient, that product will contain iron oxides 100%. That's not the case exactly. Mica is always coated in something when it's in makeup. And a lot of times that is iron oxide, but it can be other things. It can be coated also in titanium dioxide. Sometimes it's a combination. So just because you see mica does not 100% mean that it will contain iron oxides. It's just a very good chance that it will. So it is definitely something that you need to be aware of. Okay, back to the video.
Now, if you react to iron oxides, will you definitely react to mica? Maybe, maybe not. Everyone is different, and I'm going to get into that. I really hope that you guys can hear. I'm on this chair and it keeps squeaking. I put it together myself and I probably didn't do a very good job. So I'm hoping that it's not coming over too much on the sound, or that if it is, I can edit it out. But anyway, so yeah. So anything with mica, anything with a 774, and anything that obviously says iron oxide contains nickel. And that's in pretty much not all, but most makeup. So I was somewhat traumatized, not necessarily because I was so into makeup, but realizing that I would never be able to wear, or at least thinking that I would never ever be able to wear it again. I mean, I was kind of going through a lot of stuff. I had just gotten dumped, and sometimes you get well, if you've ever been dumped, you kind of know you want to try to look your best, just to make yourself feel better. And now I was in this position where not only did I feel horrible, I felt like I just I was upset. I was somewhat depressed. So I decided that I was going to find something. So people would say to me, well, it's good because you're not into makeup, so who cares? You can't wear it, so what? It had the opposite effect. It made me decide that I was going to try everything and see what worked for me and see what didn't, which is how I have this attic full of makeup No longer do I have the makeup bag. Now I have the drawers and the drawers and the eyeshadow ridiculous palette collection, which I want to show you eventually. But yeah, so we are on a journey to find what we can use and what we can't use. And like I said, everyone is different. And as I go on this series, I'm going to talk to you about the makeup that is out there that is iron oxide free, and about trying things because of basically what's in makeup and you know, why do you react if you have a nickel allergy, why you're reacting to some things and not to everything, because chances are you're not going to react to everything. For me, I still react to eyeliner and I react to some eyeshadows, and that's basically it. At one point I was reacting to spinach, but it seemed to like pass over. But anyway, I will talk more about that in future videos. If you are into makeup, or you have a nickel allergy, or you suspect you have one, or I don't know, you're just interested, I do have a blog if you want to check it out, myeyeshadowallergy.com. I'll link it below. I flourish eyeshadow when you have a nickel allergy. It is more of an eyeshadow blog because eyeshadow is my thing, but I also post a lot of other information about nickel allergies, and whenever I do come across something that is free of iron oxides, I try to post it as well. So feel free to check that out if you wish. In closing, the funny part, well, kind of funny part about this story is that in the end, I found that the actual easiest thing to replace makeup-wise as you have a nickel allergy is eyeliner, because they can make it with something called carbon black. And a lot of mainstream makeup companies, including e.l.f. and Kaja and Too Faced, do use this in some of their eyeliners. Some people do not like to wear carbon black for other reasons, but if you have an iron oxide allergy, it is an option if you want to wear eyeliner. There are also some companies, including e.l.f., that make mascara with it. And then there's companies like 100% Pure that make fruit pigments in makeup. So there are other options out there, but eyeliner is like one of the easiest. And as far as those eyelashes, I eventually found out it was the glue, because that salon used black glue, which is common. Usually you'll use a clear glue or they'll use a black glue because it kind of blends with the lashes. So the pigment, the black iron oxides that was in the glue, is what was giving me my reaction. It actually took me a while to figure that out, because when I looked at glue, I realized that there's no iron oxides in glue. And what's even funnier about the story is that in the end, I could have just went back to wearing lashes. I could have just requested a clear glue, but I didn't do that. Instead, I'm trying to try basically all the makeup that I can. And the real silver lining of this story is that this came at a time when I really needed it. I really needed to focus my mind on something else. I needed to focus my mind on something positive. And basically going through all of this and realizing what works for me and what doesn't became a real fun hobby of mine. And I love makeup. I love the beauty world. I love to try new stuff. I love YouTube. I love to watch all the, beauty bloggers on YouTube. I am in no way, shape, or form, or any stretch of the imagination a beauty blogger. I am just someone who came across makeup in the last few years and realized that they really like it, and I have a nickel allergy. So on the next episode of this series, I'm going to talk about how to get diagnosed, what you should do, and the next step after that, because finding out that you're allergic to something that is in so many things, it's in like everything, can be a little dramatic, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm going to tell you basically what I did and what you can do if you do find out that you have this, or if you suspect that you have an allergy, what you should do. Most important is to find out what it's to you so that you can start avoiding it. And I think that's all I have for you for today. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I seriously hope that you will join me next time. And that's it. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.